It's the Monday edition, Victory Monday edition, Mr. Irrelevant, presented by Door County Distillery. I'm Alex Strouf, hanging out with you in the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Joshy DiMaggio is here. We did a little TikTok watch-along. Joshy and I watched the game together yesterday. So I hope he's not sick of me, but I'm glad he showed up today. Did we get you for the full show today? You've been leaving us early the last week.
I have no plans to be anywhere but Mr. Irrelevant today.
Good. That's how it should be. Hunter Vaughn.
I do have kind of new plans, though. Maybe next time we do the TikTok Live, I just join as a guest. Keep away from you. Keep a safe distance.
We'll get to that momentarily, okay? I do want to introduce Hunter, who I imagine is tired today, because I am tired today, because I stayed up to watch the Cowboys win on Sunday Night Football, which started, over the Steelers, which started, I don't know, about 9 o'clock. And it wrapped up just around midnight. So a little bit past your bedtime there, Hunter, who's back at the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison.
Yeah, a game kicked off 90 minutes late. Dak Prescott became the first player in NFL history to throw a pick on 2 different days in the same week of football. So they were doing everything they could to lose that game, but they figured out a way to win. So I'm tired, but happy the Cowboys didn't blow it, because they should have been up like 20-3 at half.
Yeah, that was it was a fun one to watch. Now, I saw the clip circulating of one of the offensive linemen saying Jalen Tolbert sprained his, what do we call them? Friends?
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he took
I don't know how
that was a fastball right to the undercarriage.
Oh, it sure was. To the cojones, yeah. To the undercarriage. I like that. Yeah, look, I mean, it was a fun game. It was a really fun day of football, and we'll talk about that a bit later. I think Week 5 totally delivered. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games on Sunday were separated by a touchdown or less. Like, that's a day of football delivering. Giants and Seahawks was a 9-point game. That one doesn't count. 16-point win for the Broncos. A huge win for the Commanders over the Browns, who are just a total dumpster fire. And then the Bears got a big win as well over the Panthers. But every other game, which includes Thursday night, was separated by a touchdown or less. So 10 total games this week separated by 7 or less points. That's bananas. I mean, that's a heck of a week of football right there. And it shows you the margin for error in the NFL is just so tiny. And I think we saw that yesterday against the Rams for the Green Bay Packers. It is a victory Monday. The Packers get it done against the Rams yesterday. A final of 24-19. I don't know if the final score really indicates what that game was. It was all Packers all the time, but just not maybe the fashion we wanted to see it, right? You saw Stafford pulled the Rams close, and he made it interesting towards the end, but ultimately the Packers come out on top. They lead from the get-go and kind of, actually they don't lead from the get-go. They didn't lead at halftime after the pick six. But a win's a win, and I think that's the way you can walk away from Sunday's win for the Packers is a win is a win, and although it wasn't as dominant or maybe as sexy as you want it to be, and Jordan Love maybe didn't look as good as you wanted him to, it still felt like that was a Packers win throughout the entirety of that game. The Rams had that big second quarter, which gave them a 13-10 lead at halftime, but then the Packers come out and score 2 touchdowns in the third quarter and kind of put it to rest then. And I just... Josh and I were watching it together, which we will talk about now. I think it was 7 minutes left in the third quarter. I said, this one's over. And then, of course, naturally, when somebody says that out loud, the opposing team makes it a little bit interesting.
Idiot.
But the Packers prevail. And yeah, fair. They still won. You could call me an idiot if they lost. But the game was over. And they find a way to come out with the 24-19 win. So, Josh, first off, watching a Packer game with me, how was it?
It's the second or third time I've done it. It's fine. You're a little erratic, which is probably just your general demeanor. I did mention the 4-limb wiggle with the clip that was posted on Twitter where Xavier McKinney gets the interception and you are just kind of flailing all of your limbs in different directions.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Also, TikTok isn't conducive to letting us spread out, man spread, if you will.
Yes.
So there's a lot of close talk for, having to just kind of sit on the couch, uncomfortable couches at that.
Yeah, yeah.
I could have been in a more ideal situation, like my couch.
I wasn't slouching. I was at some points. I had my feet up.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit, It was a little.
I'm interested that you decided to say this game, the score is not indicative of the game it was. It feels like exactly how the game was to me. I felt like...
I don't think I was as disappointed in the Packers' performance as many were. And we'll do stock up, stock down later. And I know you always like to throw in your 2 cents after I give my stock up, stock downs. But I didn't expect perfection. I thought they would win bigger. And again, I think this felt like more than a 5-point victory, given what the fourth quarter brought, which was that final touchdown for the Rams. But I never really felt like the game was in total jeopardy.
I mean, a pick six is, you typically don't win those games, so it was good to overcome that. The offense didn't feel like it had everything going the way it should be. Kyron Williams' ability to just run the ball seemingly at will is not something you like to see. The pass rush being non-existent unless they're bringing like all that stuff. I think this team's going to be a lot better than they currently are. There's obviously players getting better on the field every single week. Evan Williams played a full game, which was surprising to see after all that. But
I love the team in tackles and pass deflections, tied with McKinney.
It didn't feel as clean as it should for a team that, with the Rams, the defense was described as in disarray heading into the week. And then an offensive line that has down 3 guys. They didn't have 3 of their preferred starters available to them in the week. Like, it feels, and we never apologize for wins. Never going to happen,
apologize,
especially on the road. But it could have felt cleaner, healthier, more sustained. Just it didn't feel good watching that game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that last offensive drive, which ended in turnover rundowns for the Rams, I think we were all a little bit holding our breath, saying, "Okay, what can the defense do here? Will there be enough time?" Well, the Packers, I think they had 2 timeouts at the time, right? Can they get a crucial stop, and then, if they don't, can the offense come out and score some points? Luckily, we didn't have to see that. I was happy to obviously see the way in which the Packers defense held them. And keep in mind, 7 of those points came from the Rams defense. So if you're only allowing an opposing offense, albeit injured, still led by Matthew Stafford, a Hall of Fame quarterback, if you're able to hold them to 12 points, and, if we want to call it an even 14, we can, obviously, with the missed 2-point conversion, I think you feel really good about that performance every week. But the Packers only scoring 24 is actually what was more concerning to me than the Rams 19 and the defense's efforts. Now, of course, yes, you still don't have a Rashawn Gary sack since week 1 to look at. Quay Walker looked lost several times yesterday. There are certainly things you can nitpick from the win. But overall, I just feel like it could be kind of like that Pittsburgh game last year, which was a loss midseason where things just started to click a little bit. That's how I view yesterday's game. Now, we'll see fully on Sunday when they play Arizona. But this feels like a game that is going to send them on the right direction to being the contender we know they can be. I just don't feel like they're too contender level yet.
You hope that's the case, and maybe each week is going to bring improvement. But Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp being healthy in this game, the Packers lose. And I have the utmost confidence in saying that.
Really?
And I don't think the Packers win any more convincingly with a Romeo Doubs or a Christian Watson in this game.
So your point is, those two, Kupp and Nacua, move the needle a lot more than a Watson and Dobbs.
Yes, and that the passing seemed relatively easy when you consider you're throwing to Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, DeMarcus Robinson, and Tyler Johnson, and Colby Parkinson.
Hey, don't forget about Colby Parkinson. That's our guy.
Colby Parkinson, bless his heart, should not be that much of a focal point for any offense in the NFL.
Bless his heart, he says. You hit it with the 90-year-old woman phrase.
He's trying his best out there, and that's all I can say
Colby
about
Parkinson was good. 13 targets led the game. That's a game high. 13 targets for Colby Parkinson.
Those Puka and Cooper Kupp, and how much different does this offense look?
Yeah, that's fair. Colby Parkinson finishes 7 catches, 52 yards on 13 targets. It's not like he was very good. His longest reception was 9 yards.
That's why I said, bless his heart. He's doing his best out there.
That Jordan Whittington guy, though, not half bad.
Yeah, he's a fantasy asset I added to my team just recently.
Cool.
I think he might be a third option for that.
Dynamite drop in there, Joshy.
Well, I think it's pretty relevant. We talk a lot about individual players, their abilities on the show.
We do.
Yeah, especially the underdog picks.
Yeah, but
I won my
don't care
first
about your
underdog,
fantasy
by the
football
way.
team. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hunter Vaughn, jump right up in here. You got a winner without giving out your picks?
Yeah, it was kind of a spur of the moment Sunday.
Hold on. Stop. Slow down.
Hold on.
I just said it was a spur of the moment thing on Sunday, and you're telling me to slow down.
You still got to share it.
Yeah, I know. I'm pulling it up to make sure I had the right.
No. You're missing my point here.
We want it.
We want it so we can also win, is my point.
I
You gotta
won
share it
41
before
cents. Like, let's chill here, okay? But it's the first time I actually won.
You had a flex pick, didn't you?
Yeah. Went with a 6. So the positives.
So it's the first time you actually won. That means you aren't following what me and Josh give out?
No, I've been trying to do my own
left
thing.
and right on here. Oh, God.
Mr. Independent over here.
Yeah.
Okay. I know where to point the ego finger on this show. You think it's the guy that requested his name is on the name of the show, right? Me. Mr. Relevant with Alex Strouf. That's the guy you'd think would have the ego. Hunter's got the ego. He's on ESPN Beaver Dam Weekly now. Mm-hmm. He's going against the grain when we give out our underdog picks that have been winning, Josh. You and I are probably net positive on the year.
We absolutely are.
On Underdog and UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code GoodKarma at sign up. Hunter's going, leading us astray, going with his own picks, and he's winning 41 cents. All right, Hunter, the floor is yours. What'd you win on?
So I went TJ Watt higher than a half a sack. Was getting real nervous when his first one was a half sack. Brandon Aubrey I went higher 7.5 kicking points. He got 8. Derrick Henry, half a rushing or receiving touchdown. He scored. So
got that done for you. Yeah.
Yep. Xavier McKinney, higher than half an interception. Feeling great.
Good for you. I did not feel confident enough to pull the trigger on that one. Good for you.
Yeah, that was the positive. I went Jaden Reed higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. He did not show up and was not happy that he went down at the 1 yard line on that one. And then tried to go higher on 274.5 passing yards for Jordan Love. Missed that one by about 50 yards. So glad I went with the flex pick. But yeah, it was my first time that I got a W on it. So I'm going to take it and we're going to build from this. And I'm learning. I'm figuring it out. We're going to get there. I'm just trying to be independent.
Joshy, as you always tell me, I'm going to tell Hunter here. Don't spend it all in one place.
All 41 cents.
Let's spend it all in one place.
I don't believe you could even turn that 41 cents into another entry. I think you have to have
it's a minimum of $1, right?
Yeah, a whole dollar.
Yep. But hey, I got that 41 cents on there.
Hey, if you're not losing, you're winning. That
exactly.
Easy.
If you're not losing, you're winning. Okay, but if we do the math here, Joshy.
Yeah.
He won 41 cents.
You got it.
His entry fee was more than 41 cents.
You got it.
But I still got 4 out of the 6, so I'm taking it, okay? Just let me have this. Why can't I just be happy?
The Cowboys won. That's enough happiness. It's enough happiness for you. I don't know. Badgers won, too. We'll get to that a little bit later. All right. Yesterday, I set it up all day on Green Bay Game Day yesterday, a pregame show, which you can hear on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ. Myself, Brian Balaga, John Anderson were hanging out with you yesterday. I said I view this as a big get-right game, right? Like, this seems like a game where you go on the road, you play a team who's not very good, right? And we quoted the great Homer, Steve the Homer True, from the Homer Hour, 5 to 6 on ESPN Milwaukee. We quoted him throughout the entirety of the show, right? If this Packers team is what we expect them to be, they should go in and win, which is what they did. I viewed it a step up from that, which was if the Packers are who we think they are, they go in and they eliminate the silly mistakes they've made so far this season. And I get that it's only game 3 of Jordan Love, right? Week 1, week 4, week 5 are the only 3 games that Jordan Love has played so far. So, I wanted it to look like Jordan Love's best performance. I don't know that we can walk away saying that. I wanted it to look like the defense's, maybe not best performance because they were really good against Tennessee, but you want to make it look like a good defensive performance. I think overall they accomplished that. 2 turnovers, got to Stafford 3 times, held their offense to 12 points. I think all in all, you feel good about what the defense did yesterday. Special teams, you don't want to see Narveson miss a kick. He didn't do it, which is great. So you checked, in my opinion, I think you checked 2 of the 3 boxes for the most part of what you wanted to walk away from in order to call it a get-right game. Jordan Love is the box you didn't check, which feels like maybe the biggest box. It wasn't Jordan Love's best game. Not of his career, obviously, but certainly not of the season either. I still think Philadelphia is probably his best game of the 3 he's played. Jordan Love has to be better. He just has to be. You pay a quarterback that much money, he can't go 15 of 26 for 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick 6. And I get it was his first career pick 6, and everything that happened on that specific play, disgusting might not even be a strong enough word. It was fundamentally one of the worst football plays we've seen all season, not just by the Packers, by any NFL team. And the Cleveland Browns are in the NFL. Jordan Love flailing in the back of the end zone. Nah, he didn't flail. He more kind of dove and threw it half in the air and just lands in the hands of a defender who's 3 yards outside the end zone. Rasheed Walker not blocking anybody, then flailing his arm, signaling to Love, hey, get rid of the ball. Everything about that pick 6 was fundamentally disgusting. All right, so let's not cut any breaks on that one. It was maybe the worst play of Love's career. And he's had some bad ones. He had a bad one last week against Minnesota. That play might go down as one of the worst plays of Jordan Love's career. Outside of that, though, Love wasn't great. He had some great moments and some great throws. Tucker Kraft had some great moments. The early deep ball to Jaden Reed that set up the first touchdown was a phenomenal throw. Phenomenal. You know, and the same coin where I'm saying, hey, we might have witnessed Jordan Love's worst moment, that throw to Jaden Reed might be one of his best. I mean, that was an absolute dot. And Reed adjusted and made an unbelievable play to get it down near the goal line.
That was a bad decision.
What was?
That throw.
To Reed?
Yeah.
I mean, there was, 3 defenders in the area?
3-1.
Now, I will say, he put it in the exact right spot.
Yeah, I also think if that safety just knows
Agreed.
Where to go, how to read a pass, that should just be an interception.
Probably should have been an interception.
Yeah.
But risky throws equal great reward, right? Like we saw the Lamar play everybody's talking about from yesterday. You see a fumble, and then he stiff arms a dude 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage and throws a bullet into the end zone for a touchdown. Risky plays sometimes pay off. Sometimes they don't. And we know that all too well when Brett Favre was the quarterback in Green Bay for how long. That was a risky throw, Joshy, but it was a terrific throw by Jordan Love, and it was a terrific adjustment and catch by Jaden Reed. So, all in all, you saw high moments, you saw low moments from Jordan Love, but I think ultimately Jordan Love needs to be better. And I might even go as far as to say he needs to be much better than he was yesterday. If this team is reaching the potential that we all anticipated and expected this year. The real expectation of the Packers is they should be contending for the NFC Championship. They should be a Super Bowl caliber team. I don't think through 5 weeks you can make that decision. And that brings me to my big concerns through the first 5 weeks. Love is one of them. I'm not saying Love's not the dude. I'm not saying, you paid him. I'm not saying any of that. I still believe in Jordan Love. I still think Jordan Love, at some point in his career, I don't think it'll be this year, but at some point in his career can be an MVP candidate. I think he can be, one of the best top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. But through 5 weeks and really 3 weeks for him, he's kind of just looked mid. Which I think in a Matt LaFleur offense, clearly you saw a dude do it for 2 weeks. You can win with mid quarterback play in a Matt LaFleur offense. You can. Malik Willis went 2-0. Jordan Love can play mediocre or all right or okay or good. And you can still win football games, especially against bad teams. So again, I'm not killing Jordan Love today. I just didn't think he was very good. He was fine. But if you want to get to the level of Detroit and San Francisco and Philadelphia and truthfully competing in the NFC, Love needs to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. Because that's what's going to put you over the top. And again, I think you have a good enough roster, you have a good enough coaching staff that you can alleviate maybe some issues, which Love has had plenty of in his first 3 starts of the year. But I don't think he was good enough yesterday. That is what it is. The other concerns, the pass rush is still a little concerning. And obviously the run defense, which seemingly is a concern every single year with the Packers. 3 sacks is good. You like to see the evolution of guys like Carl Brooks here in year 2, who got there. Kobe Wooden at half of a sack. Carl Brooks at a sack and a half. Like, you feel good about some of those guys and the way they were able to pressure the quarterback. But you'd like to see more. You'd like to see them get home a little bit more. And, you know, I felt like they did it. You know, they were reminding Stafford they were there. They just weren't there fast enough. So you'd like to see that take a step forward. Josh is giving me quite the look right now.
They didn't create pressure unless they brought extra guys.
Yeah, and what you mean when they rush 4?
Yes.
They weren't bringing pressure? Yeah.
Right now, the Green Bay Packers are
Oh, he's going to throw stats.
32nd in the NFL in pass rush win rate.
Ooh.
32nd, you might know, is the worst in the NFL. And for all those out there listening, there are only 32 teams, and there is none worse than the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, so I did not know that.
Yes.
Look, I'm no expert, I'm a fan, right? When I make evaluations, I'm going strictly off the eye test. I did not know the stat. That's depressing.
Yes.
I'm actually surprised by that, though. I figured there would be teams worse than that.
Nope. And, I mean, largely is one specific guy who was paid to be an elite pass rusher who's not there. But with 4 right now, the Packers are seemingly incapable of creating pressure. The Rams didn't have 3 of their preferred starters out there on the offensive line. And I know there was 8 sacks in that Tennessee Titans game, but their right tackle's a fantasy analyst. So take that with a grain of salt. You can't win. This is not going to work.
Wait, is their right tackle actually a fantasy football analyst?
Yeah, the Titans.
Who?
The guy with the hyphenated name. I don't know it, but he
analyzes fantasy football?
Yeah, if you paid attention on the Friday show before that game, you would have known. Pay attention to your own show, dude.
So first off, I wasn't on that show because I was traveling to Nashville.
Yeah, I know. You can still pay attention to your own show.
Flick on a little YouTube vid.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I do when I miss a show that I want to hear? I did it actually with Green Bay Game Day. I go to the YouTube, especially if it's still live, put it on 1.5 speed. Catch up. Listen to it quick.
Dude, the snap there was both sass and clever. That's a pretty good snap.
I got a great snap.
Hold on, one more time. It sounds like something's popping. Okay, that's enough. All right, good stuff. Hey, you'll like this from Chef Ed, Joshy. On the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat, our guy Chef Ed says, they really need to clean up all the mental mistakes. True. I imagine this is a very penalized football team in terms of the NFL rankings. Josh, if you want to pull that up. But you'll really like this from Chef Ed. Gary is a statue from the neck up. He's a bust. Come on, what do you think, Joshy? Not bad. Not bad from Chef Ed.
He's a statue from the neck up?
Yeah, a bust. That's what they call it. Oh, now you got it. Yeah. Pretty good.
I thought he was calling him dumb. I was like, I don't think that necessarily about the guy. The Rashawn Gary thing's fascinating because what do you do about it? Like, unless there's some nagging injury we're unaware of, he simply looks like he can't do speed to power, and he doesn't look like he should be rushing the pass.
So I was just about to ask, do you go with Smith and Preston Smith and Lucas Van Ness? Do you go Smith and Igbare? Do you kind of do a rotating cast on one end? What do you do there?
His snap count did come down. I actually have it right here at handy. He was only 63% of snaps, 49. Van Ness was next at 54, and Igbare was 36%.
Where was Smith?
He's kind of right at 50, actually. Exact. I think.
So they play all 4 of them pretty evenly.
Yeah. Preston Smith at 50% is probably the most you want to use Preston Smith at this point of his career. But I do think that if Igbare is going to at least make game-changing plays, it's not always going to be in a pass-rushing position. But, like, you're going to – those other 3 guys should be splitting pretty much evenly at this point because you could see a case for Rashawn Gary, like – we know what he is. We've seen him be much better than he is currently.
Yeah, of course.
So you don't want to just take him off the field and bench him. But if you're not producing, we got to try other things. And those other things are Lucas Van Ness and JJ Igbare.
Totally. Yeah. So there are plenty of concerns, plenty of things to be concerned about through 5 weeks. But the good news is you're 3-2. You're keeping pace with everybody in your division outside of the Vikings. I mean, they might be good. 5-0 the Vikings are. Hunter, I want to go to you, though. I mean, I've kind of outlined the concerns. It's nice that we're not talking about a kicker today, which we've done the other 4 weeks.
If you noticed on the last lower third that we had on the screen, somebody actually got Packers uniform put on there because he didn't miss a kick. So,
oh
yeah, Narvison.
I forgot about the little game we were playing.
Literally, as soon as we brought it up last week, then boom,
Yeah.
he finally actually does what a kicker should do and gets the Packers uniform now.
For those of you that maybe missed it, I think this was Wednesday's show last week. I said to Hunter he was still using a picture of Braden Narvison as a Titan, and I said, "Hey, he's been here a month. It's time to update the picture." And Hunter said, "Nope, not until he goes a game without missing a kick." So now you see on the screen, Braden Narvison was Sunday a Get Right game with a picture of Braden Narvison.
He needs to change that number. It's a bad number for a kicker.
44?
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's a
think it's
great
tough.
number.
Yeah, I think that's tough.
Also, Jim Nance did Narvison dirty.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Nervous Narvison.
Nervy Narvy. Yeah, isn't that good?
Man,
I mean, you
that's
could say
mean.
Jim Nance did him dirty, but that's fantastic. Like that is a pro
It
broadcaster.
was the perfect name to give him, not one I'm sure he wants following him.
No, you're totally right about that. I mean, that is so good. Go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, one, if you go away from Rashawn Gary, it's not like Lucas Van Ness has been any better. So you're not really improving anything there unless more snaps is what he needs. But, like, for being a first-round pick, he isn't impacting things the way you'd want.
Maybe not in the sack category, but I think he's getting home a little bit better than Gary is. Because I know, I think on 2 of the sacks yesterday, Van Ness was in the backfield. He just didn't have a hand on the quarterback. So I don't know. I've been impressed with him. It seems like he's making a jump from year 1 to year 2, which is obviously what you look for in a first-round pick that didn't play a ton last year. But I thought he was pretty good, actually, yesterday, too. I'm not going to sit here. So I'm with you, Hunter. I'm not going to sit here and call that a total improvement, right? Because Rashawn Gary is one of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. He needs to play like one. And I don't think that's the expectation for Lucas Van Ness, obviously. So it says a heck of a lot more about Rashawn Gary's lack of success and lack of win rate than it does about Van Ness's seemingly good jump from a year ago. I've actually been impressed with him through 5 weeks.
Yeah, and, like, I'm not saying that, like, Van Ness is garbage. I just, like, what you should be getting from somebody like Rashawn Gary, like, that's just not what Lucas Van Ness's game is going to be. Like, he's a first and second down D end. Like, that's probably what he is going to be. Maybe he gets to a point where he's playing more third down, but that's probably not what he is. And I think, too, like, the big thing for this conversation of, like, being concerned after a win is just the fact that, like, we know what this team should be and what the expectation is for this season. And right now, based on all of the information we have, they are not anywhere. I don't think this team's anywhere close to being a true contender for the NFC. I think they can still get there, but at this point, like, they're not there, and that's why it's concerning, because at least the other teams, like Detroit, you're seeing, like, okay, I can see what
Detroit's
they're
there.
Yep, like, you can see it. Minnesota is showing the things where you're like, okay, I think they can probably be competing here late in the season.
Yeah, the thing is with Minnesota, and I know everybody's hesitating to buy into them. Look, I will say this definitively: they're a playoff team. I have no doubts about that. Right at 5-0, they'd really have to screw up the final 12 weeks. And maybe Sam Darnold comes back down to Jets Sam Darnold level. I don't see that happening though. And look, the Bears are 3-2. Like, this is a good division. So the Packers need to take that next step, but the good news is they got the win they needed, right? And the only thing that comes down to where you're heading to next, postseason or draft prep, essentially, is how many games you win. So the Packers at 3-2, with the Cardinals coming up next, the Texans in 2 weeks, and then at the Jaguars in 3 weeks. You feel really good about the schedule and the way they'll be able to separate the win-loss count a little bit. But you need to be able to see it too. Right? The eye test does matter. And I don't know that they're passing the eye test of a Super Bowl caliber team yet. The Lions are. I'm with you. The Vikings, they're close. I mean, what they've been able to sustain for the last 5 weeks is a little absurd, but it's super impressive. Elsewhere in the NFC, San Francisco's down because they're beat out. I mean, they're actually pretty outside of Christian McCaffrey back to full health now, and they lost again yesterday. So I don't know if they're just in a slump, if they're figuring things out, but you know they're going to be there at the end. The Eagles, too, right? Like, that's a team who they've had the rocky weeks, but they're going to be there in the end. You're Cowboys, Hunter, right? Like, nice showing from them last night. They'll be around. Who's going to represent the NFC South? It seems like they've got two pretty good teams in the Bucs, or three really good teams in the Bucs, Falcons, and Saints. So it's still early enough where I don't think there's a ton of separation going on, but there's like 9 teams where it's like, okay, which one of you are the best? You know, the Vikings by default at 5-0 are at the top of that list, and the Lions at 3-1, and you just saw them on national TV a week ago today. They're in the conversation too, so you've certainly got to pick it up.
Yeah, and I just think of like all of those 9 teams, I think we could go through all of them except right now the Packers and be like, okay, how are they going to win games this season and keep winning games this year? The Packers, I'm still not sure how they're going to do that because like the running game hasn't been as consistent as we thought that it would be with Josh Jacobs. Obviously, Jordan Love, like, you can't help the fact that he was hurt the last 2 weeks, but it's not like you can say, okay, they're just going to throw it 40 times a game with Jordan Love. He's going to carry the team through to these wins. The defense hasn't been consistent enough to say, like the Bears has been, of we can lean on the defense. The offense just needs to get a couple of points here and there, and that'll be enough to win the games. The Packers aren't at that point yet. And that's what's concerning to me is the fact that, like, at least at this point, everybody else, you see their paths to victory.
Yeah, look, it's still early, right? It's still early October, mid-October. But listen to this stretch to finish the season for the Packers. 5 NFC teams in the month of December. Well, and the final game is in January. But starting December 5th, Thursday night at the Lions. Then the following Sunday night, December 15th, at the Seahawks. Monday Night Football against the Saints at Lambeau. And then you round out the season going to Minnesota and hosting Chicago. Those are 5 NFC teams, all of which, as it stands right now, are either a wild card team, a division champ, or a team just on the outside looking in. So you're going to have a heck of a stretch there to finish out the season against 5 NFC opponents. Lions, Seahawks, Saints, Vikings, Bears. That's when you're going to know what they're made of. That 5-game stretch is going to be crucial for knowing what the Packers are going into the postseason. And ultimately, that 5-game stretch could break whether or not you're going to make the postseason, depending on how the next couple of weeks go. But I think you feel good about them and hope they can be 6-2 after Jacksonville. And you create a little separation, hoping you only need to win 4 or 5 more games, and you're good to go. So we will continue to break down the Packers win over the Rams coming up next, as we do what we do every Monday. Stock up, stock down for Packers players following the win, 24-19 over the Los Angeles Rams out in Inglewood. Packers now 3-2 on the year. Every team in the NFC North is 3 or more wins. Bears 3-2, Packers 3-2, Detroit 3-1. They had their bye this week, and Minnesota a perfect 5-0. NFC North. I told you this is going to be a good division. Caleb Williams might not have played football all of a sudden. I mean, come on. It's a good division. And the Packers get a win. They're still in the race. We're good. We're good. Plenty to be concerned about, but plenty to feel good about as we play stock up, stock down coming up next. First, got to tell you about my friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. I always say football season is whiskey season. I did have a glass or two of the Door County Distillery bourbon last night on that late Sunday night football game. The rain delay, so I made a little dinner, poured myself a little bourbon, sat on the couch, enjoyed football. Late football. It wasn't until about midnight. Good nightcap, though. Whatever else you like from Door County Distillery, right? They've got the vodka, the cherry vodka made with local Door County cherries. They also have cherry brandy, same thing. Apple brandy is great in the fall. Hot toddies are delicious, kind of like an adult apple cider. Terrific. The classic green bottle of gin, the rum, all the in-betweens. DoorCountyDistillery.com. Liquor stores all over the state of Wisconsin. Affordable, local, delicious, award-winning. Check them out, DoorCountyDistillery.com. We'll step aside for 60 when we come back. Stock up, stock down, following the Week 5 win for the Packers over the Rams. That's next. It's Mr. Irrelevant. I'm Alex Strouf. Back in Carlsville at the legendary Door County Distillery with my buddy Rob from Door County Distillery, and we have a Door County Distillery exclusive in front of us right now, Rob. cherries, bourbon, two of my favorite things. Put them together. You got the Door County Distillery Cherry Bourbon. It's beautiful. We're just doing shots?
Yeah, we're just
Let's
going to
celebrate.
straight up. I mean, it is good for mixed drinks. You can put it in old fashions, Manhattans, but sometimes you just want to straight up take a little shot of it.
I won't complain about that. Like I said, two of my favorite things: cherries, bourbon, Door County cherries, bourbon. I can't complain.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Prost.
Ooh, that's tasty. Oh, that's good.
Yep.
That's really smooth.
Get that cherry flavor. Yep. Not a whole lot of burn. Beautiful.
That's terrific. Door County Distillery exclusive, the cherry bourbon.
Check out their website with a huge list of unique cocktail recipes at DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com.
Ooh, that cherry bourbon from Door County Distillery, DoorCountyDistillery.com. All right, week 5 in the books for the Green Bay Packers. Now 3-2 following the 24-19 win over the Los Angeles Rams. It is time now to take a look at stock up and stock down for some Green Bay Packers players following that win. We all know, if you've watched the show before, if you've watched this segment before, if you've listened to me talk for 5 minutes, I can't do so about any topic without bringing up wide receiver Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed is a flippin' superstar, man. He is wide receiver 1. He has the potential to be one of the best wideouts in all of the NFL. Not only does he make that terrific catch early in that game on that deep ball from Jordan Love, he does it out of the backfield. He does the misdirects. He does the end arounds. He just does everything, and you have full confidence when the ball is in his hands. He had one drop on a third down that you didn't love, but it's Jayden Reed. I think he's built up enough good karma to get away with it. You know, okay, one drop. That's okay. He is so good. And not only from this game and this young season that we are now 5 weeks into, is Jayden Reed's stock up. Listen to what he had to say after the game in L.A. when describing himself. All good wide receivers need a little bit of an ego. Jayden Reed certainly has one, and it came out during his post-game availability. Take a listen.
I seen trust, man. I seen trust from 10, and it was 3 guys. I looked up, and I just told myself, you got to make the play. They used to say in college, Reed down there somewhere, so just throw it up. But yeah, so that's trust from 10, man. I can't throw the ball, so I just got to make the play.
Bleepin' Reed is down there somewhere. Just throw it up. That's what Jordan Love did, and it worked out all right for the Packers, leading to their first touchdown in that game against the Rams. Bleepin' Reed is down there somewhere. Just throw it up.
Yeah.
Tell me you don't love that confidence.
I mean, I loved that confidence until they did that against the Badgers at Michigan State, and he converted that 3rd and 17 to win the game.
Hey, Hunter. And when Bleepin' Reed ain't down there against the Badgers, guess what he's doing? He's throwing the football. He threw a touchdown pass against the Badgers a couple of years ago during his time at Michigan State. Bleepin' Reed is down there somewhere. Just throw it up. That's so good. Should we make T-shirts? Joshy, thoughts? Do we make T-shirts that just say Bleepin' Reed is down there somewhere?
No, because it's a stolen thing from Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins.
Did you see the air
Hopkins
go out of the wind went out of his sails as soon as you said that? You just crushed him.
There's a famous like Hail Mary-ish type play from Kyler where he said post game, bleep it, DeAndre down there somewhere. And that is something that has now been repurposed. Sorry.
Poor Strouf.
Figured you'd be following along with the big things that happen in the NFL.
Oh, you stop right there. Bleepin' Reed is down there somewhere. Just throw it up. That's so good. I don't care if DeAndre Hopkins did it first. I don't care if Kyler Murray did it first. Jayden Reed self-appointed it to himself. That's way cooler than Kyler Murray saying it about DeAndre Hopkins. That's like me saying, yeah, Bleepin' Strouf's in the studio somewhere. Just grab him. He's going to make radio gold. Right? Like that, to have the self-confidence of Jayden Reed to self-assess that way. That's pretty sweet. I don't really care if somebody did it first.
Yeah, I know you're trying right now.
I am.
Working.
Yeah, whatever. All right, let's go to stock down. Let's start with Dontavian Wicks. Joshy is the Dontavian Wicks guy. I'm the Jaden Reed guy of the show. It's good to have both of us here on a day like today where we go Wicks stock down. Now, this is as simple as the Dontavian Wicks conversation needs to be. And I don't think Joshy's going to disagree with anything I say. He's got drop issues. We get that.
Dropsies.
He's got the dropsies. There was another pretty good Packers young wide receiver in his second year who had the dropsies. His name was Devontae Adams. He had some crucial drops, too. Wicks, luckily, I don't think he's had any drops that have broke the camel's back, to say.
To
right?
contextualize the important drops for Devontae Adams, he had the most drops in NFL history in the end zone. Nobody had dropped more touchdowns in their career to that point than Devontae Adams did.
And it turned out all right for him.
He figured it out.
And when you look at, and we've talked about this at length the last couple weeks, but when you look at Dontavian Wicks, the guy creates so much separation. He is so good off the line of scrimmage. He is so athletic. He possesses so many intangibles and skills and attributes that you want out of a good receiver. The only one he doesn't have is the ability to catch all the footballs thrown in his direction. Of course, that's problematic, but I think it's something he can grow out of. Now, I think we would all agree we would like him to grow out of that much sooner than later. Right? If we could just get rid of that problem starting next week against Arizona, that would be great. The issue is history tells you this might take a year. This might take 2 years. And maybe it never happens. Maybe he just always has the dropsies, as Joshy just appointed them. My hope is, and I know hope isn't a strategy, that this is just kind of a growing pain for Dontavian Wicks because he is so purely talented. He has the potential to be the best receiver on this team. Jaden Reed isn't even letting him get close. But if Dontavian Wicks starts catching all the footballs thrown in his direction, you've got two number ones in Reed and Wicks who you've got under contract for another 2 seasons after this year. So with Wicks, I'm not hitting the panic button. But that issue needs to get fixed. And it might happen this year. It might not. It might happen next year. It might not. But he is so good, and you know Jordan Love still has the utmost confidence in his abilities, because when you look at the target numbers, just specifically look at that, right? He had 13 targets last week, and he had how many this week? 7. He led the team. Jaden Reed, for example, had 6. Tucker Kraft, who scored 2 touchdowns and 5 targets. Dontavian Wicks, again, this week, had the most targets from the Packers offense. So Jordan Love still has plenty of faith in Dontavian Wicks, but the drop's got to stop. 2 catches on 7 targets is really bad. 5 catches on 13 targets is really bad.
Yeah, I think we were also kind of conflating the issue because there was a big drop in this one specifically. One of them was, frankly, a bad throw from Jordan Love, where if he leads Dontavian Wicks, he probably has a touchdown late in that game. When it comes to NFL-level athletes, few people ever who make it to the NFL they never end up not making it because they simply can't catch the ball. Like that's a very rare thing as like a problem that ends up like derailing a career. I think, as you mentioned, the Devontae Adams case is the best one for it, and one for Packers fans to maybe simmer down. It's tough. It needs to be better. Dontavian knows it's better. Last week he was out taking extra reps with the jugs machine and Jaden Reed. Like all that stuff is stuff that needs to improve, but someone who gets open that often, to the degree he's open, not only is he open, the degree he's open is like league leading. Like just think back to last year, Quentin Johnston. That guy couldn't catch a cold. And
true.
In his short 4 weeks that he's played, I think they were on a bye this week, he like immediately became a difference maker because the thing about Quentin Johnston last year was he was always open. He just couldn't bring the ball in.
Yeah.
Players learn at different degrees. Growth is not linear, as Jason will tell you every single time he can. Like, this might take a full season. It might take more. It might just stop next week or in 2 weeks.
Right. That's the fun part. And you know, I like bringing up the Devontae example, which is, I'm about to blow your mind if you didn't realize this already. The season that he had all those drops was 9 years ago. It's almost been a full decade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is nuts. But I remember we all overreacted because we weren't used to that, right? You just expected excellence from the Packers receiving room, especially in the 2010s, right? You just expected excellence. And when somebody was derailing that excellence by dropping passes, people got really pissed off. I mean, I can't imagine what his Twitter feed looked like in 2015. But like I said before, it worked out all right with Devontae Adams. My hope is it will work out all right with Dontavian Wicks. All right, let's rapid fire through these last few here on Stock Up, Stock Down. Stock up for Tucker Kraft, the tight end. I just mentioned it. 4 receptions, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Terrific day for him. Josh, you and I were both blown away by the speed he had on display. Got up to 19 miles an hour on that first touchdown reception, which is bananas. He has completely taken over that top tight end spot. It's not close between him and Luke Musgrave. Kraft is phenomenal, and he has taken that ginormous year 2 jump that you were looking for from one of those tight ends, and he has emerged as one of Jordan Love's favorite targets. So huge stock up to Tucker Kraft through the first 5 weeks.
I think he's a top 5 tight end in the league already.
Woo!
If you look at the numbers, they would indicate that, and we also have to run that through. Hey, he not missed 2 games. He had 2 games with Malik Willis, who they threw the ball like a total of 35 times. Yeah. So that ability is rare. The ability in the open field, the fact that he seems to relish blocking as well as when he sees contact, he runs into it and runs through it. That is a type of guy who, and we saw it on his second touchdown, they're going to start designing plays for him. It's not just simply going to be, Tucker's open, throw it to Tucker. It's going to be, we need Tucker Kraft to get touches, because when he gets touches, good things happen.
Tucker Kelsey? Travis Kraft? How do we want to
Tucker
nickname
Kittle. He's great.
Kittle?
He's George Kittle. Yeah. Blocker who loves it, goes through it. And George Kittle, when he became what he was, he said it was a very simple thing, and he talked to his tight ends coach at Iowa about it. Instead of trying to run around people, he started running through them. And that's when George Kittle emerged as one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
And I know a guy who's starting to do that a little bit. His name is Tucker Kraft, and he is a member of the Green Bay Packers. Really good game for him yesterday. Had a big stock up to him, not just last night and yesterday, through the first 5 weeks of the season. He's been terrific, and I don't think I've given him the proper credit through our first 5 weeks of stock up, stock down. So this is a big shout out to Tucker Kraft. I said we're going to rapid fire through these. It's going to be hard to do when my next stock down is Romeo Doubs, given the situation that has unfolded over the course of last week. So I'm going to do my best 30-second recap of everything we know if you've been living under a rock. So Friday night, it comes out from Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated that Romeo Doubs skipped 2 practices last week because, according to Huber, he was disappointed and upset with his role within the Packers offense. Saturday, the Packers then make their game day elevations, game day changes ahead of Sunday's game against the Rams, which that release included Romeo Doubs suspended for Sunday's game against the Rams due to contact detrimental to the team. Brian Gutekunst released a statement saying they love Romeo, and they're going to work through it, essentially, is the long and short of his quote. Romeo Doubs misses the game. We have not heard any conflicting reports. We have not heard anybody deny any of the reports. And Romeo Doubs' agent declined comment to our friend Rob Domofsky, which we found out yesterday on Green Bay Game Day. We've always known that if you have great wide receivers, they have egos, as I just pointed out with Jaden Reed. I don't think we anticipated seeing the egos on display and at play as early as they have come out now in year 3 for Romeo Doubs. They had only played 4 games when he started skipping practices. The starting quarterback had only played 2 of those games of the season that Romeo Doubs had played in. Romeo Doubs was still top 3 in targets through the first 4 weeks of the season. There's probably more we don't know to this, but this is certainly not a good sign for chemistry. It is certainly not a good sign for anything. But Domofsky told us yesterday, which I thought was an interesting tidbit from this whole situation, is on practice, or at practice, I believe on Thursday, ahead of the Rams game, the players were gathered prior to going out to the practice field. They were inside the Hudson Center doing their stretches, and then Matt LaFleur gathered them and kept saying the term, "Don't let this be a distraction." And at the time, the reporters didn't really know what it was related to. Rob said he asked around, and nobody would give him really a straight shot answer. Huber ultimately dug up this. And this has nothing to do with his play. It just has something to do with the chemistry, the togetherness, and all the in-betweens that goes into making a great football team. This is a little concerning for a guy in Romeo Doubs. What was that noise? Did everybody hear that?
I was trying to. I didn't know that was going to happen. So I was trying to pull up. There's a little bit of some NBA related breaking news that I was going to pull for what we learned that just came across. And I was going to get a screenshot of the headline for that. Didn't know that when you make a screenshot that it makes a noise on your computer. So
all right. So
we're having a serious
spoiler.
conversation and I
Okay.
derailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right, dude. It's all right. So the long and short of this is nothing to do with this play. The Packers typically have been pretty good at navigating situations like this. Jair last year, a little bit different. But not showing up to work is a choice. And I don't know how that's going to work in Dobbs' favor. But the hope is he rejoins the team this week. They play Arizona. Let's say he gets in the end zone a time or two. I think we can move forward and act like it never happened.
This is the type of thing that I think the Packers will be hesitant to ever trust Romeo Dobbs again.
Yeah, I don't think this looks good in terms of when, he's in year 3. At the end of year 3 is typically when you start looking at contract extensions.
Yep.
I would guess that will not be the case.
If you start breaking it down by strict numbers, Romeo Dobbs trailed by 2 targets to both Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed to that point of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a game install that happened, and Romeo Dobbs wasn't happy with what the install was. Mm-hmm. And if you break it down with the information we have now, as I fully believe this is strictly having to do with his role as reported by Bill Huber. Maybe there's other factors that we'll learn about that could be added to it, but this feels like a guy who thinks he's far and above better than the other 2 guys, and he should be a focal point of the offense instead of a complement, which to me I think is... I sent this in a group text message. This isn't quite Josh Jones, the defensive back, requesting a trade in minicamp, but it's also not that far away. Because Romeo Dobbs, what have you done? Where do you stand on... You're not CeeDee Lamb. You're not Jamar Chase.
You're not Justin Jefferson, right?
You're not even the tier below that.
No. He's a good complementary piece. Like I said, my optimistic glass half full spin on this is hopefully they figure it out. And hopefully we can just move on and act like nothing happened. But will that be the case? We'll all find out together. Hunter, go ahead.
Yeah, I also think Jason brought this up a number of times on Wildy and Tausch of just I hope that this is just a Romeo Dobbs has an ego. He was very upset about that. And he's just being a knucklehead because somebody that can get very in their own head about their role with things and that stuff, that can spiral very quickly for you. So I really hope that that's all this is for him. Because this could go really south for him.
I'm going to make a joke in your direction, but on a serious note, I'm totally with you, right? If there's anything more to this that we don't know, if it's a mental health thing, right? I don't want to cast judgment on any of that. Thank you for showing up to work today. For a guy that said he's not been happy with his roles in previous lives. You're here, which is good.
I mean, because I'm not going to not show up. But I get what that feels like of you're not sure about where you stand on things and your position with stuff and you're not happy about it. I can get how you can quickly spiral out of that.
The one thing that makes me, and I agree with what both of you said, obviously all that mental health stuff, and especially regarding what you mean to, your life's work at this point. The fact that the Packers suspended him makes me feel like there's really only 2 cases here. Either it's truly he's unhappy with his role and it's not anything deeper, or the Packers totally missed the boat on this and punished a guy who shouldn't be punished. Yeah. Because I don't think if when the head of security went over to Romeo Dobbs' house to do a wellness check on him to make sure, hey, we haven't heard from you in 2 days, what's going on here, I think that was a thing that would probably likely come up, or there would be some indication there was enough time had surpassed between him initially missing practice to when the suspension came down that something would have come out, or they wouldn't have gone the suspension route.
Yeah,
is how I feel about it.
I think you're spot on. So we'll see. I think more will come out of this, right? Dobbs is going to talk in his locker on Wednesday.
Yeah, Kurt Benkert says there's something else going on here. So take that with a grain of salt.
We trust his word on that.
Yeah.
All right, just rapid fire. I don't know that a whole lot of analysis is necessary here. Stock up. The remaining stocks up I have. Xavier McKinney got another interception. That's 5-5. Carl Brooks, 1.5. Colby Wooden, half sack. Good play by the interior defensive line. Down Devontae Wyatt, who's maybe been your best interior defensive lineman. Stock down. Quay Walker-ish. He just looks lost sometimes. Makes me sad. And then a neutral stock, no movement here for Jordan Love or Braden Arbison. That is our stock up, stock down rendition.
Is Cooper should be near stock up?
Yeah, probably.
Evan Williams?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, both those guys. Dude, Goody's been hitting these draft picks defensively.
Yeah. The Green Bay game night, I don't know if you listened to the post-game show there.
There were some
people that were critical of Goody, and yeah, you would love Lucas Van Ness to just be Aiden Hutchinson and come in, but he also wasn't like a top 5 overall pick. It was kind of a projection pick, a pick for the future.
Yep.
Rashawn Gary's a struggle, but Jair Alexander exists.
Not yesterday, but he does.
Yes. Jordan Love exists. Latavian Wicks, Jaden Reed,
Tucker Kraft.
There's a lot of hits, a lot of them. Zach Tom,
yeah, totally.
Arguably one of the best right tackles in all of football.
Yeah, there's a ton of good hits, and some of these depth picks defensively are maybe the most impressive part. Right, the Carl Brookses of the world is such an impressive stuff from Goody. So anyway, we're running way late, so apologies. That's our abbreviated end to stock up, stock down. You did do it. You said you were going to make me go over today, and I am indeed going to go over today. This breaking NBA news that Hunter wants to get to, I actually want to jump right to that. So let's get to what we learned. You learn something new every day. We learn something new today. We all learned it together. Josh, do you have any idea what he's referring to? Just yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, I do as well. So let's just react together. I feel like this is great for our team at ESPN. Shams Charania is going to replace Adrian Wojnarowski as the ESPN's new senior NBA insider. So, Woj, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, retired, is now the general manager for St. Bonaventure men's basketball. Go Bonnies. And now Shams, who was a free agent, he was previously he's been with a bunch of different places, Yahoo Sports, The Athletic, Stadium, but all of his contracts were up. Timing worked out all right for Shams to head to ESPN. Woj was obviously a longtime mentor of Shams. But you got the best up and comer, man. He's young too. Do you realize how old he is?
He's I've because 30. I heard him on Levitard's show in the past. He
30 years old.
He started doing this at 25 and was just one of the most connected people when some of us were barely graduating college.
You know what I do best, Josh, is I make something about me.
Oh, right? Yeah, here we go.
Yep. So last week I was over at Bucks Media Day, and I was talking to Dan Smichek, who's kind of their senior PR guy. And I said to Dan, I don't know that we've ever met in person, but back when I was 15, you gave me a credential to a preseason game at the Resch Center in Green Bay. And I was very appreciative of that because, I couldn't even drive a car yet, right? And he goes, oh, cool, man. Whatever, right? He just kind of, but then he goes, Alex, you know who else I did that for? I go, who? He goes, Shams Charania credits me with starting his career.
Wow.
So you're just like him. So me and Shams, 2 peas in a pod. I mean, come on.
God.
Come on.
The growth is a little more exponential for our guy, Shams.
Yeah. I feel like Shams actually fully took advantage of that.
But notice how Joshy goes, our guy. I love that. Go ahead. Yeah.
This makes me happy for two things. Shams was the only other guy really in the NBA in terms of the insider game, so it was an obvious move. But it also keeps Jeff Passan where he is, who I really like Jeff Passan as the...
Wait, was he going to go to NBA?
There was rumors of him possibly moving to the NBA. So to me, it makes me happy because there are two guys that I like going to have roles that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to. I think Jeff's great for baseball. I think Baseball Insider is a special, weird type of place. Which is where baseball is as a whole. So yeah, it's a kind of a double thing because I believe Passan also tweeted that I'm not going anywhere GIF. As well.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So Schefter, Shams, Passan.
Yeah, it's the best of the best.
I mean, that is
3 for 3.
That's
right?
a super team.
Yeah.
I mean, how many championships are they winning? Come on. Come on, dude. That's great news. So that's good to see here as we wrap up the show. All right, last thing for you fellas. Saints at Chiefs tonight, Monday Night Football on ESPN, 7:15 kick. I think this is going to be a lot of points. I think we're going to see a lot of points tonight between the Saints, who have kind of gone downhill, right? They started the year out 2-0. They scored 40 points in each of the first 2 games, have now lost 2 in a row, held to 12 points against the Eagles, held to 24 last week against the Falcons. I think they're going to score 30 points tonight. I think the Chiefs are probably going to score in the 40s, and we're going to see some high scores tonight between these two teams. Over under only at 42.5 according to ESPN Bet, but I would guess we see some points. Who do you like on this one, Joshy?
You mean team? Sorry, I was talking to intern Will back here.
Intern Will's a stud, but he needs to shut the hell up when I'm trying to talk to you and do a show.
Yeah.
Okay? Chiefs or Saints? Who do you like?
Chiefs. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Chiefs every week.
I'm realizing I can't talk to interns like that, so I would like to officially say, Will, I'm very sorry. Please just shut up when I'm trying to talk to Josh, okay?
I was talking to him, let's be clear.
This is going to turn into Mr. Irrelevant with Josh DiMaggio because Strouf's going to get his ass fired.
Real fast.
Way to go.
Real fast. Yeah, I might. No, Will knows he's my guy. It's all good. Okay, you like the Chiefs?
Yes, I like the Chiefs.
Okay, Chiefs. Hunter, who do you like?
I mean, I kind of have to take the Chiefs if I want to keep the home life happy, so Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. Wife is a big Swiftie.
Yeah, big Travis Kelce fan. After they won the Super Bowl,
so-
purchased a jersey.
Does that result in her then watching and rooting for the Chiefs? Because
Yes.
my girlfriend, gigantic Swiftie, couldn't care less.
Oh, interesting. Because my girlfriend, also gigantic Swiftie, very pro-Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say
She's
she's
locked in.
pro-Chiefs. She's pro-Chiefs, but she's not going to watch a game.
Okay, interesting. No, my girlfriend will watch both. More of a Packers fan, thankfully, but Chiefs second for sure. Yeah. So anyway, all right, good stuff, fellas. I'm going to get in on some action as we always do on the Underdog app, UnderdogFantasy.com. By using promo code GoodKarma at sign up, you get to up to $1,000 deposit match and a free pick, including one for tonight's game. In October, their calendar is full of specials. Profit boost. There was a 31% profit boost yesterday. I missed on it, which is a tough break.
Same.
But hey, man, only Underdog is giving you that type of juice when you're making picks on the Pick'em entry on the Underdog app, UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code GoodKarma at sign up. All you got to do, pick between 2 to 8 player projections. You pick higher or lower on those picks. You put a couple bucks down on it, you can win up to 1,000 times your money on an 8-pick entry. Underdog, make picks, win money. Use promo code GoodKarma at sign up. You must be 18 years or older to play and in a state valid, which includes Wisconsin, includes California, includes Texas, includes Canada. Underdog app, UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code GoodKarma. Get in on the action this Monday night.
I got one take for this game.
Go.
Kareem Hunt, over hunting. He seemed to have taken over the backfield for the Chiefs. His higher. 49.5 is his rushing higher, and 67.5 is his rushing and receiving higher. 12 rushing attempts is probably the one I like the most.
Yeah,
higher
I like that too. I like that too.
Because I think they just have to run the ball. The other guys they have running the ball is Samaj Pirine, who's overaged, and a
Carson Steele. Yeah. Yeah, look, if they get up early, which I think they will, I think this could turn into a little bit of a shootout. If they get up early, though, they're going to pound the rock with Hunt.
Yeah.
The former Chief, who is now once again a Chief. I like that too. All right, we'll build it out. Maybe we'll tweet it out at Alex_Strouf, which is where you can follow me. You can get Joshy at Josh_DiMaggio. You can get Hunter at _V. We all like our underscores on Twitter/X. We're back with you Wednesday beginning at 12:30. We'll talk a little Badgers on Wednesday because it's about midseason. I think we can all take an exhale after a huge win this weekend over Purdue. I do want to talk a little Badger football on Wednesday, but we will also continue to preview Week 6 in the NFL as the Packers host the Arizona Cardinals. But good debrief today, fellas. For a Victory Monday, I felt like we came in a little low. I feel like I'm leaving a little high now. Jordan Love needs to play better. That's my grand takeaway.
I was going to say, I had a long weekend, man. I was at the Badger game, did our tailgate on Regent Street, and then we had volleyball Sunday. This was a weekend, man.
And your Cowboys played until midnight.
Yeah.
So Hunt Daddy needs a nap, and he's going to take one. That's Mr. Irrelevant. It's presented by Door County Distillery. Joshy, Hunter, Strouf, signing off, saying
Intern
goodbye.
Will.
Intern Will, sorry for yelling at you. I didn't mean it. I promise. Please don't get me fired. We'll talk to you Wednesday, hopefully. It's Mr. Irrelevant. Peace.